Tonight, we meet a dog. I slap this girl and this raccoon gives me the runaround. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In tonight's video, we will not be getting the platinum for Telltale's The Walking Dead Seasons 2, because there actually isn't a platinum. I know kind of weird that all the others have platinum trophies, but whatever. But we will be getting 100% completion. So, although it's the same thing, we won't be hearing that sweet platinum trophy sound this video. So to get the 100% we need 40 trophies, and as usual with Telltale games, these are all required by just playing the game, so really straightforward. If you enjoy the video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. So we begin our journey this time playing as Clementine, and we are with Omid and Krista, and maybe our luck has finally turned. We will go on a journey with these two characters from the first game, kill some walkers, it will be fun. Never mind, I'm immediately held at gunpoint by this random girl. Looks like some things never change, but it's all good. Omid has snuck up behind her to save the day, but the door closes, and this makes the girl turn and instinctually pull the trigger, and she kills Omid. Krista then hits a filthy hipfire and kills the girl after. Great start to the story. I feel like we are going to lose a lot of people this game. We then jump 16 months into the future, and me and Krista are still together. But she lost her baby. I can't even imagine raising a child during an apocalypse. We then look at the old photo of Lee, which makes me want to cry, and our old drawing of Kenny and his family. But that's cut short because Krista has been found by some new survivors, so we hit this guy with a rock and we both flee. I then get caught because I am in fact still a child, but after fighting tooth and nail, literally we push this guy into a walker. We then throw another rock because we are just that good of a shot, but we somehow fall backwards into the river and get pulled downstream. This leads to us getting our first trophy. We then wake up on the bank of the river downstream, which is convenient, and we then find a stray dog. So obviously we pet the dog, I mean, who wouldn't? So we decide to follow him for some reason, and we get another trophy. We then find an old rundown camp, so we do what every survivor does, and that's start looking for food. And after doing some bin hoking, we find a tin of beans.
Beans, what the fuck?
So we share some with the dog, but the greedy fucker wants more. And now he's chewing on my arm, great. I manage to kick him away and get to my feet. But once we go to check on him, we find he's been impaled. So we put the poor but very angry dog out of his misery.
Looks like meat's back on the menu, boys!
After wandering for a while, we then just start passing out due to blood loss, and the fact half our arm is just opened up. And as we start to fight this walker off, it's looking like the end, until these two chads show up and save the day. They then carry us and leg it while we get another trophy. So this is Luke and Pete, and they seem really nice. I'm sure they will take care of me. Ah fuck, why'd you drop me, you twat? So turns out they think I've been bitten by a walker, and I mean, come on, as if human teeth look even remotely similar to a dog's. But they lead me back to the place they are staying, and it's here where Clem decides she is going to go for a nap. We get another trophy. So we then wake up from our nap, and we are surrounded by a new group of people. I will let them know I'm alive. Fuck, what an idiot. So then Carlos the doctor comes out to look at my arm to see if it is a dog bite or not, and somehow this idiot can't tell the difference between human and dog teeth. So they decide to lock me in the shed in case I turn. But I ain't sitting around waiting to die, so I decide I'm going to break out of the shed and patch myself up. How hard can it be? So after sneaking out of the shed, we find a way back into the house and begin our search for medical supplies, and then we bump into Carlos' daughter Sarah. And yes, she's a pain in the ass. All game, let's get that out there, but she manages to help me out this time. I then find a needle in the bathroom, which I'll use to sew up the wound, and after that, I find some makeshift bandages. And this gets us another trophy. Back in the shed, we get to work, and we pour whatever this is on our open wound, which wasn't the smartest thing I've done. But here comes the fun part, and we start sewing the arm back together.
I am a surgeon!
And then we start to bandage my arm back. Of course, I drop the bandage. Oh fuck, not again. Can I have 2 minutes without something going wrong? So we grab this pitchfork to defend ourselves, and we quickly manage to impale the walker and grab this hammer to finish the job. This gets us another trophy. The group then finally storm into the shed to see what's going on, and Luke here decides that I'd be a lot safer inside the house, which is the first good thing this new group has said. Once inside, I finally sit down to some food, and this time I don't have to fight a dog off for some beans. Oh yeah, and Clem then drops this line on Rebecca.
What? You can't pull some shit on me. I'm not my husband.
You should watch your language if you're going to be a
You
mom.
should watch how.
This gets us another trophy. I then head out the next day with Pete and Nick to do some hunting. Don't know why I couldn't stay in the house, but okay. But after a short walk, we then find a lot of massacred bodies, because Clementine still has no luck whatsoever. I then find my old bag beside this dying man. Unlucky mate, bit odd for you to be carrying around a pink school bag. But okay. Pete then gets into some trouble with a walker, but I'm sure he's okay. Oh, never mind, everyone's going to die this game, aren't they? I then rush over and save Pete from this walker by battering it with a wooden plank, and then we flee together into the woods. This gets us another trophy. Cut to me and Pete in the back of a random van where we are hiding from the walkers, and we quickly give him a cigarette because why worry about lung cancer when your leg's been chewed up? But a few hours has passed, and we wake him up and he decides to stay behind and make some noise so we can escape. Not going to lie, a lot of people seem to die trying to protect Clem, but thanks Pete anyway, so we run into the forest. And this gets us another trophy. We then arrive back at the house and tell everyone about what happened to Pete, so the gang quickly arm up and head out to find him. I mean, I did say he was bitten and he was last surrounded by walkers, but okay, just ignore me. Which leaves me in the house with Sarah. Ah, kill me now. We then get a knock at the door and I don't think it's Domino's Pizza, but before we can open up, this twat barges on in. He is looking for the group and says they used to belong to his community. And while I'm pulling out all the excuses, he finds a picture of Sarah. So yeah, our cover is blown and he's definitely going to come back here. But we get another trophy. The group then arrive back at the house and Sarah, the wee rat, immediately tells on me and tries blame me for talking to the stranger. I mean, Clem knows what happens when you talk to random men, especially over walkie-talkies. Anyway, Carlos then says he is called Carver. Pretty generic bad guy name. But he used to run their group and the Fled, so he is basically Negan, but he doesn't have a cool jacket. We then all agree to leave, and before we do, we will try find Pete. We then get another trophy. Clem then leads then group to the truck where Pete was last seen, and almost immediately we find his dead body, and he has been ripped apart, although he did kill a few walkers, so fair play Pete R.I.P. We then start our journey away from Carver, and these leads to us doing a small time jump of 5 days. We then get to a bridge and use our binoculars to scout ahead. I don't know why Clem has to do everything, she is literally a child. But we see a cabin at the top of the hill, and we plan to stay there for a while. Me and Luke then walk and talk our way towards the bridge, and this does indeed get us another trophy. Once on the bridge though, we manage to get trapped by a handful of walkers. Well, this should be easy to solve. Luke, you kill that one, and I'll take these two. Oh, come on. He's fallen through the bridge. Time to start carrying the team again. So we start to take the first walker out, but we slip backwards. But while the walker charges at me, I fling him off the side. I then grab Luke's machete to make quick work of the other walker, and after a quick slash and a push, we manage to kill it. We then finally help Luke back up onto the bridge and crisis is averted. But we then meet this guy, and he actually plans on helping us. So that's a nice change of pace. I hope he's around for a long time. Wait, Nick. What are you doing? You fucking moron.
I started blasting. Bang! Bang!
We then get another trophy. I then find a knife what definitely belonged to that dead man, but this won't have any consequences, I'm sure. The group then finally manage to hike their way up the hill to the cabin, and once at the top, I then get the job of climbing the ladder to make sure no one has followed us. We have several grown men here, but okay, send the little girl all the time. Once at the top though, we do see several flashlights in the distance, and that's 100% Carver and his boys. But we hear people shouting below, so we rush down to find out what's happening. Of course, we run into another group here, and holy shit.
What?
I'm going to shut up, and we are going to enjoy this moment together.
Kenny!
This then gets us another trophy. Obviously, we sit down and talk to Kenny, and I can tell you right now, when I first played this, I was on cloud 9. Kenny and Lee, we're best buddies. So, you know, for a fact, I'm having Kenny's back for the rest of this game, no matter what. I then sit and eat my food with Kenny, and yes, If you didn't sit with him and hug him every chance you got, consider yourself the enemy. We then go on a small patrol and find this woman strangely looking into the cabin, and she pulls a sob story saying how she has hungry kids to feed. Yeah, I've seen this rouse before. I say we shoot her. Walter, though, gives her some supplies, and she heads on her way. Once back inside, Luke tells me that the guy Nick shot on the bridge was Walter's friend, and that I need to get his knife and hide it, so Walter doesn't know. Funnily enough, we then find Walter has the knife, and me and Nick explain what happened. But Walter is pretty chilled out about it, and he decides to forgive Nick, I think. We then get another trophy. So the wind turbine here is making a lot of noise due to the storm, so we all rush over there to try and shut it down before it attracts like 1 million walkers to us. So guess who will be doing this job? Carlos the doctor, who clearly is intelligent, or maybe Kenny, who is known to be good around machines. Nope. If you guessed Clementine the child, you guessed correct. But luckily enough, all it takes to stop the wind turbine is the turn of a key, so happy days. But the area starts getting flooded with walkers, so we do what Lee taught us, and we pull the trusty pistol out and get to work. We then lift a rifle, and it goes about as well as you'd expect. The walkers are overrunning our position, and Nick gets grabbed, but his old Walter saves the day. But before anyone else gets attacked, Carver and his squad show up and gun the remaining walkers down. He then wants Rebecca to reveal herself, because he believes that her child is his. He does this by snapping Carlos's fingers, so we then come down and give ourselves up before he kills Carlos. Kenny didn't get the message though, and he snipes one of Carver's men. Carver returns the favor and shoots Walter.
Pissing our pants yet?
And then he grabs Alvin and goes to kill him. So once again I come to the rescue and rush Carver, and he backhand slaps me into next week, and then uses me as a human shield. This makes Kenny turn himself in, and we all get captured except Luke. We get another trophy. Once in the back of truck, me and Kenny plan our escape, but they slam on the brakes and this knocks Kenny down. We then get another trophy. We then get led inside the community, and it's like a mix of the Saviors and Terminus. I'm not joking. Once inside though, the group reunite with this one-armed bandit called Reggie, who helped them escape the first time. So that explains the missing arm. So me and Kenny again seem to be the only people here with our heads screwed on and start trying to plan our escape. So Carver comes out in the morning and starts his best Negan speech, but unlike Negan, Carver hasn't fed us any spaghetti, and he isn't funny at all. But Sarah, being thick as fuck, keeps talking, and in one of the few moments I like Carver, he makes Carlos hit her a slap. Trust me, it's not the only time she will get hit a slap.
Don't any of you do that again. I will shut that shit down, no exceptions.
So me and Sarah are put to work, and we have to pick these berries, but Sarah, being useless, decides to just cry the entire time. Carver then blames Reggie for this, and throws him off the building. R.I.P. Reggie. This gets us another trophy. While walking around, we then get grabbed by someone, and turns out that someone is Luke, and he tells me that he needs a walkie-talkie so we can communicate, but also so he can hear what the guards are saying. I then get called into Carver's office, where I find a half-dead Alvin just chilling, and then Carver does his best Negan impression again. He yaps on for a bit more, and this gets us another trophy. Later that night, we are all back in our camp, and discussing how we are going to escape. Me and Kenny want to break out, while the walker herd surrounds the place, while also blasting music to make them attack the community. This is where Jane introduces herself, and tells us you can slip past walkers if you're covered in their guts, which we already know because of Lee Rip. So I then get some help, and used a rope and ladder to climb my way up to the roof, because why let adults do something when a child can? Anyway, once up onto the roof, we slip in under the skylight, and climb down to the ground floor and find 2 walkie-talkies we can give to Luke, so we grab them then sneak back to camp. This gets us another trophy. The next day we are all being split up, but Kenny hands me the walkie-talkie and it's my job to find Luke. But instead this guard finds me, and without any hesitation drags me back inside to Carver. So Luke got found almost immediately, and Carver knows that one of us have the walkie-talkie, and just as I'm about to admit that it was me, Kenny grabs it and says it was him, and takes the blame for me.
That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's the MVP! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
This then results in Carver beating Kenny senseless, and he targets one of Kenny's eyes. So I rush to save him, and get dropped instantly. This gets us another trophy. So turns out the group plan to leave tonight, and they are discussing leaving Kenny behind. You scumbags, I never liked any of you anyway. I'd never leave my mate. But turns out we don't have to, because he has just recovered from that beating already. I obviously give him a hug, because he just needs one at this point. So I sneak back up onto the roof and into Carver's office and find Alvin again, basically dead. But I then start blasting the music to attract the herd. This gets us another trophy. But then Alvin wakes up and starts looking for Carver's gun because he plans on staying, and as I'm leaving, Alvin gets shot, but he has last stand on and gets one last kill before he dies. As I'm leaving though, Carver has the group at gunpoint, so I leap down and disarm him while Kenny drops him, and Luke steals his gun. Kenny then shoots Carver in both knees because he's just ruthless now.
You know how long I've been waiting for this?
After that, he then goes and lifts a crowbar. Oh, Kenny is in his villain arc. Let's just say he starts bouncing this crowbar off Carver's skull, and after a few good smacks, his head opens up like an egg. Obviously, I stayed to watch because I'm a psycho, but this gets us another trophy. We then start to cover ourselves in walker guts to slip past the herd. But straight away, Carlos gets shot in the neck and starts screaming, and then he gets eaten. Sarita is then getting her hand nibbled on, so because I can make the hard decisions, I chop her hand off, so save her from the bite. Might be a tough choice, but it will save her life. We get another trophy after this. Turns out chopping off her hand did not save her life as she gets eaten anyway. Cheers, game.
Well, that was pointless.
So Kenny is pissed off again because everyone he loves just dies. But we get another trophy here. While walking through the herd, we find Rebecca and then Jane, and once Rebecca starts to lose it, Jane then uses a walker to navigate us safely through the herd. We then meet up with the survivors at a local war memorial camp, and after a quick discussion, they then tell me to try talk some sense into Kenny, and that goes about as well as you'd expect. But me and Jane then head out to find Sarah, Luke and Nick. It's here where Jane actually teaches Clementine some survival skills, which she will end up using in the future games, like double tap. We do quickly get a trophy. We then come across an undead Nick, who is stuck in a fence. I don't actually know how he managed that, but I decide to put him out of his misery and bury my axe into his head. It's here where Jane teaches Clem another trick. The old kick them in the knee and stab them while they are down, and Clem will use this basically all the time from now on. So thanks, Jane. We then find where Luke is, but we are being overrun by walkers, so I somehow kicked this door as a child. Once inside, we find Luke cannot get Sarah to get up and move. Don't worry, I will. So as we are being overrun by walkers, I hit her a slap and drag her to her feet. We then manage to climb out. We do get another trophy after this. Once back with the group, we try talk some sense into Kenny because Rebecca's about to give birth soon and he's the only one here who had a child. R.I.P. Duck. So I head out with Jane to find somewhere Rebecca can have the child, and we come across a gift shop with her upstairs area, which seems secure. We get another trophy here, but as we are trying to open the door, we see a cripple is wandering this way. So I obviously start to distract him while Jane sneaks up from behind and disarms him. We then find he has a lot of medical supplies which we need for Rebecca and Kenny. So we steal from him because I'm heartless and send him on his way. I then quickly head back to the group and head out to meet with Bonnie and Mike. This gets us another trophy. Bonnie then gets grabbed trying to open this door. Kind of funny, so Mike boots the door in and batters the walker. We did manage to find a lot of water though, which was worth it. Back at the camp though, our position is being overrun again because we have no luck, but Kenny decides to slow the walkers down and uses that trusty crowbar of his. He then takes out another, which is close to me, and then just to show off more of his talents, he starts to deliver Rebecca's baby. This man is the MVP. So we then try to hold the walkers off from getting up here, and after shooting several, me and Luke use the fake cannon to try block the door. We end up snapping the balcony though, and Sarah is trapped. Happy days. But Jane is hanging on, and me and Luke pull her up to safety, while Sarah gets eaten about time. I then break the last bit, holding the rest of the balcony up. This stops the remaining walkers getting up. We then get another trophy. So turns out the baby is alive. And well, Kenny, you are the best. Oh yeah. And Jane slips away in the middle of the night, so we have lost another member. This gets us another trophy, however. We then set out to the local town, but it's snowing, so we are in tough conditions. And to make matters worse, we see that wee cripple coming towards us, and it turns out he is not alone, and he is also Russian. So like any time Russia and America meet, we have a standoff. He tries to take our guns and gear, but that isn't happening. In the middle of all this commotion though, we see that Rebecca has died probably due to blood loss, and she starts to turn while Alvin Jr., yes that is the kid's name, is in her hands. So I make another tough decision and shoot her. This gets us another trophy. So by shooting Rebecca, I have started the second Cold War, and we find ourselves in the middle of a firefight. Luke and Kenny laying down covering fire, and a few of the Russians have been hit. But AJ is out in the open, so I dart from cover and grab him, then make my way over to Luke. Luke then gets shot in the leg, nice one, but before he can get killed, Kenny headshots the Russian. Kenny then grabs Arvo here and uses him as a human shield, which honestly I'd just shoot him at this point, but before the Russian can shoot at Kenny, Jane stabs him in the back of the head. This gets us another trophy. We then jump forward a bit, and we are trying to clean up Kenny's eye because that thing is wrecked. So yeah, just another reason why Kenny is the best losing an eye just to protect Clem. So the group then head out to find more shelter. This gets us another trophy. We do manage to make camp at a small abandoned power station.
Diggity dog! This place is magnificent!
It's here where the group actually managed to not get killed or shot or die for the first time this game. So it's a nice change of pace from everyone constantly dying. We do get another trophy here. The next day we head to the house Arvo told us about, but it's not even fully built. And it's also across a lake of ice. So we spread out and slowly make our way across. Surely nothing bad will happen. A few walkers start to follow, but they are slow, and we should be across by the time they get here. Arvo the cripple decides to make a run for it. Like, honestly, how far did you think you'd get? Your leg is fucked. Kenny catches him though, so crisis averted. We then turn around and see another crisis has appeared. The ice Luke is standing on is about to break, so I start to cover him from the walkers because common sense says that any more weight will make it break. Bonnie here doesn't have any common sense, however, and she decides to try grab Luke, and this results in the ice breaking and both of them going under. I then try break the ice to save Luke, but it's far too late, and this just results in me having to be dragged out by Jane. Somehow Bonnie survived though. We get another trophy, so we start a fire so I don't freeze to death, thanks guys, and then Kenny starts to fix a car up because we have seen him do it several times. We have seen him fix just about anything and everything, so, you know, this car is going to start. But in the middle of the night we hear noises outside, so we go check it out and find that Arvo the twat and that scumbag Mike are trying to steal our car and supplies.
You are so gonna regret crossing me in a few minutes.
Oh, and of course Bonnie is involved. Should have let you drown. So I start shouting for Kenny and Jane, but as I do, this Arvo decides to shoot me, probably because I keep calling him a cripple. And this makes me pass out. I then wake up as younger Clem and see Lee. Never mind, shoot me more often so I can see this man. We then talk some more with Lee. It's pretty strange talking to a character you used to control while controlling another character. So, am I still Lee here telling Clem, who is also myself, to go back to sleep? I'm confusing myself. Anyway, we get another trophy. I then wake up in the back of the car to hear the adults in the front of the car arguing and shouting, so it's just like my childhood. We then get another trophy. Anyway, after driving for a bit, Kenny sees that the road is blocked and gets out to go see if we can get through. But the car gets surrounded by walkers, and I have to drive us out of here. But I end up crashing the car. For some reasons, I feel like this won't be the only car Clementine ends up crashing. I then walk through the snowstorm and manage to find a small bit of shelter. This gets us another trophy. But once inside, we are reunited with Kenny, who leaves to go search for Jane and AJ. Jane then enters without AJ and tells me to trust her. Very shady, not gonna lie. Kenny then attacks her because she has got AJ killed, and I'm fully behind him. So these two start fighting, and I'm just stuck in the middle of it watching. But after a short fight, Kenny manages to get Jane's knife and overpowers her and starts to stab her. So I have the option to shoot Kenny and save Jane. And you're 100%, right? I ignored that and let her die. Kenny has had our back from game one until now. I'm not turning on him. Right, P. Jane, though you taught Clem a lot. Turns out Jane hid AJ away to show us how unhinged Kenny is. I mean, killing a child would make anyone go mad. So what's her point here? So me and Kenny then leave together with AJ and try find a settlement called Wellington. So 9 days later we arrive outside Wellington, and the place is pretty big. But once we speak to a guard, she tells us that the place is full up. So Kenny proves one last time why he is the best, and says to take Clem and AJ, and he will leave as long as they take us, and they accept this. But I fucking don't. I'm not leaving Kenny out here on his own. So the guard gives us some more supplies, and me and Kenny leave with AJ. And this gets us the final trophy, which gets us the 100%. Still pissed there is no platinum. So yes, everyone, that was The Walking Dead Season 2. Again, a very good game, just like the first one. and some of the moments in this were amazing, especially reuniting with Kenny. That leaves us with just the last 2 games, A New Frontier and the final season, which I actually just finished recording the other day, so those videos should be up soon. Anyway, once again guys, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment what game you want to see next, and subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one.